Okay.
Well, to our listeners today, I have a question for you. Are you at all concerned about the state of our world? Not just the state of the United States, but of the entire world? And you know what? I really hope that you, like I, have some amazing friends that you can talk to, somebody that you can just stir it up with. Yo, you are now tapped into the Stir 716, and I am here with my amazing co host, the cool cousin Kim and the Doc Natasha Manning. I'm so excited about them being
Hey.
on. And you know what? I just got to bring this up. Okay, so ladies, we got to talk about this because this is real life for a lot of people. So,
Mhm.
as you know, we are on day 28 of the government shutdown. That's right, 28. And for a few weeks now, some federal workers, a lot of federal workers have not been paid. But here's the thing I want to bring up: SNAP benefits are set to expire. Like, nobody will get SNAP benefits after November 1st. The 42 million people and families that depend on food stamp assistance possibly will not get their food stamps starting in just a few days from now. And so, what I find to be very interesting about this is, yes, are the Democrats holding out? Absolutely, right? They're holding out because they're saying, hey, the health care part needs to be in the bill, and you guys need to pull some money back from immigration, whatever, right? And the Republicans are saying, whatever. The whole point is this: policy is people. Politics that make the policy is really about people. So I don't know how you both feel about it, but right now, if you literally go to the USDA website, you know what it says there, what they literally put on there?
What
They
is
have the well has dried out.
Yes, they were
Those
saying that.
like it's laughable, right? It's
Um,
comical.
yes.
But what's so crazy is people will, I mean, starve. Like literally, people will not be able to feed their children. You got elderly people on set incomes. They depend on this
It's
SNAP.
definitely going to affect household spending.
Oh,
For sure.
definitely,
Absolutely,
definitely.
absolutely. So I don't know what you ladies have heard, but this is not good. And this is
No.
not a good look for the United States. What does this say about a country that we can't even get together on a policy that impacts 42 million
Yeah.
Americans?
Hmm.
Say it's you,
And
ladies.
you
Say
know the
you.
thing is we so quick to bail out other countries that you know
That part.
we're benefiting from, right? But we have people who are in the country that are in need. My opinion on a lot of this is that he wants to bring in this martial law thing. So the way he's moving is that it's like he wants to take away things so people will start acting out, doing things out of law so he can bring in the National Guard. Because once he does that, he no longer needs the say of the government. He can do
That's it.
whatever he wants to do. So with people on the internet, like, oh, it's gonna be some robbery and stuff like that. They
Wait
definitely,
a minute.
you know what
Well,
I
but my
mean?
thing is, why wouldn't it be?
Right,
If I
exactly.
had
But
to steal or starve,
he wants to bring in the martial law. Look how many
right?
times he's been trying to bring it in, and the governors and the states like, no, 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 you're not coming here doing that, right? So with that being said, he feels that if he takes it away, take things away, these people are going to turn to criminal activity, which I can bring in people, the National Guard to come in and police, and I don't need the government or
I
no.
mean, the criminal activity that would come in is the same criminal activity that's currently happening. People still shoplifting. You
Exactly,
understand? People
exactly.
still stealing steaks and lobsters
Right.
and
Right.
having dinners.
Right,
And
right, right, right. But it's because
so
he'll be able to
they
bring this
selling their
in.
food stamps
Right.
anyway. They doing
Yeah.
all types of stuff. And I
Mhm.
see what you saying, Doc. My perspective on it is I truly believe, looking at the bigger picture, Trump is trying to create a legacy that other presidents have created. You had Obama. When you think of Obama, what do you remember him for? The
Affordable care.
Affordable Care Act,
Affordable
right?
Yeah.
Care Act.
When you
Mhm.
think about President Roosevelt, the Social Security Act, which
That's right.
allowed
That's
you
right.
understand
Right.
these SNAP benefits
Right.
and things like that, and
Hmm.
Social Security. He
Yeah.
is trying to create a legacy, and I believe he's doing it the wrong way. Same way he's restructuring the West Wing. He's turning it into a ballroom.
Yeah.
Tore it down.
I
Tore
mean,
it
like,
down.
how? What's wrong, sir?
And I said, he's doing these things, and and I said, okay, you're creating this hostile partner
Yes.
theme with Canada when all Canada has to do is press a button and he won't have lights for that ballroom. They can shut down the whole C store. So that's what I'm saying. Like he wants to be this
dancing in the
dictator.
dark.
Right, dancing in the dark. And he wants to have this dictatorship, right? And he's saying, you know, he's trying to ease people to say, oh, I'm giving some of my money personally. Okay, whatever money that you're saying you're contributing, but the other money is coming from the taxpayers, the same taxpayers that you're taking away things from. You understand? So you can find money to place that. Even now, you're finding $40 million to possibly help Argentina out, but you have people here that need
right here.
money right here that you, for some reason, we can't come to some type of agreement. The same people who are making these policies and all this and being standoffish, y'all still going on vacations with y'all family. Y'all still going to the golf courses. You guys are still going to the grocery stores because you guys have residual money that other people can't have because a lot of people are surviving off of paycheck to paycheck. But you guys are still moving regularly while you guys are holding out, but other people are suffering around you. You understand? And it's just like, you know.
And it's gonna also affect other people, not just the recipients of SNAP, but you have local grocers, local farmers,
that's right. That's right.
farmers markets, because I believe, and I'm pretty much accurate on this, every SNAP dollar spent generates approximately $1.54 in economic activity. Okay. So once that cut happens, it's going to affect, it's going to be a ripple effect. How many of
That's
us
right.
are farmers? Not us.
Not us.
And I want to make this very clear.
Mhm.
Although Black women have been the face of welfare and have been labeled the welfare queen,
Say it,
over
sis.
70% of the recipients of welfare are white. This is a fact.
Right.
This is not reverse racism. This is not me trying to speak slander or
No.
you
It's
know,
just fact.
it's
It's
just
just
it's
what it
just
is.
facts. And so
Right.
to our listeners that are listening that may be of color, you got to get back to basics. Okay, get back the community. Some things may force us to now do what we should be doing or should have been doing, right? So what that's going to look like is pulling on your neighbors, right? Being more connected, right? Having that it takes a village mentality, and to also cut back on some spending and to move wisely with the resources that we do have.
Absolutely.
But it's really not going to hurt us the way we think it's going to hurt us. It's sad that in the land of the free and in the home of the brave, that this is something that this administration is looking to do. And from a tax perspective, I mean, that's been coming out of our check that as we know it. So,
right.
I don't really
What
see
I
how
just
this is
think
a
what,
benefit.
right. And what I find interesting is that the US Department, so the USDA does have money, right? Contingency money for such a time as this, where they could release it, but they're refusing to do so because they're saying, hey, we need that in case of some catastrophic, something issue, which I understand. And they're kind of thinking, well, you all should just get it together. But if again on their website, it's more of this like nitpick. They are literally blaming Democrats. As you could imagine, right?
For what?
What's going on? So I'll read this to you. This is on their website right now. It says Senate Democrats have now voted 12 times. And today, this was an update today. So this is the 13th time. Times to not fund the food stamp program. Okay, also known as SNAP. Bottom line, the well is run dry. At this time, there will be no benefits issued November 1st. Then it says, we are approaching an inflection point for Senate Democrats. They can continue to hold out for health care for illegal aliens and gender mutilation procedures, or reopen the government so mothers, babies, and the most vulnerable among us can receive critical nutrition assistance. Now, this is all I'm going to say. I understand. And I understand the point of view of the person that obviously is writing that, right? But the reality is this: whether you are a Democrat, whether you are a Republican, whatever you are, if you're serving in leadership, you have to have a heart for the people.
Absolutely.
The voice of the people needs to be the loudest voice in your ear. And
Absolutely.
I get it. Everybody's pulling for the same piece of the carrot, right? So you got the Republicans like, we don't want to change anything in our bill. You got the Democrats like, we want to change things on the bill for our constituents. Everybody's fighting the same fight.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is like food is essential, right?
Essential.
Absolutely.
Something people could just live without,
And
So
Right.
I think that's
and
the
we're
thing that makes this such a ridiculous argument and a
absolutely.
ridiculous statement that
Hmm.
will come from a government department. I
And
think it, you
it
know,
shows that we've lost our humanity, right? And when
Yeah.
it comes
yes,
to humanitarianism, you need to have a level of impartiality, right?
Mhm.
There is no right or wrong when it comes to doing what is morally good for the people, especially if you're going to
right,
be in leadership. And especially, you can tell a lot about a civilization or people by the way they treat the elderly and by the way they treat children. And Tasha,
absolutely.
you're in the education field, and it is said that SNAP is going to increase the rate of food insecurity, right? Which is one of the social
Absolutely.
determinants of health,
Hmm.
okay?
Mhm.
And the World Health Organization has said that up to 80% of a person's health is determined by the social determinants of health. So those of you listening, what are the social determinants of health? It's a really fancy way of
Mhm.
saying where you are
Hmm.
born, where you
That's
live,
right.
work, play, and pray, right? And
Yeah.
the tenets of the social determinants of health is access to affordable housing,
That's
access to
right.
quality health
That's
care,
it, sis.
access to quality
Food.
education,
Mhm.
access to food,
Yeah.
to fresh fruits and vegetables. And
Yes.
food insecurity is a problem right here in Buffalo on the east
Right
side.
here. We
Right
ain't got to
here,
talk
right in the
about the
back door.
world.
The
No.
fact that
Right
the May
here.
14th top shooting left those people with one option to just rebuild the tops,
Right.
That's it. That was
no
the
other
option. That's the
choice. That
option.
shows the
Mhm.
impact of food sovereignty and food insecurity. And now children, right? They're
Mhm.
not gonna probably not even gonna be able to eat at home. Now they're really gonna be double counting on going to school for that meal.
That's
Then
Mhm.
right.
that's going to
Because
be
That's right.
increased lower test scores, learning disruptions,
oh,
cognitive
sure.
difficulties in school
It's
due
gonna
to
Absolutely.
be
hunger and
behavior.
poor
Absolutely.
nutrition.
Behavior.
Doc, you're in the mental health field. It's going to
It's
be
gonna be
increased
behavior.
psychological
And
distress.
let's
Hmm.
be clear, even before this SNAP thing has been going on, kids were going to school hungry already.
That's
Already.
true. So it's
You
going to
understand?
exacerbate that. It's going
Some
to increase
Yes.
that.
it's going to
Yes.
increase that. But then I go back, like you said, we've lost our humanity, and it says,
Mm.
they want to talk about the Constitution. I said, well, the first part of the preamble says we the people. So
Mhm.
when are
That's
we
right.
a part of the people that you're
Yes.
governing and overseeing?
Well,
That's
we
the
wasn't
part.
free until 1865. So when the
Yeah,
founding
but
fathers wrote that, it wasn't we the people. It was
but I'm saying
they the white people.
exactly. But at the same time, it's a lot of white people that's going to be affected because let's be very
That is
clear, as we
true.
know, they
That's
are the
true.
most respondents, consumers of SNAP benefits in
That's
Pennsylvania.
right. That's
You
Absolutely.
right.
understand? So
And that's the
that
base,
now that it's affecting them,
interesting.
but what's happening too is that until, just like anybody that's going to be reactive,
Mm.
until these same people that's sitting up in the house that's making these decisions, until Mary Beth comes and says, Uncle such and such, Uncle John, you guys got to vote on something because it's affecting my family.
Hmm.
Their reaction is not going to be why, because it's not personally affecting them.
Mhm.
That's
When
it.
it
That's
starts
it.
to affect somebody in their family member, you understand? That's when the reaction is going to be, we have to do something. We have to do something. Now it's because they feel that it's everybody but them
Right.
and and
Right.
and but their family. You understand?
And
So
I'm also concerned for expecting mothers, and
yeah.
even, it's just so
Yes, for
it's just even
sure.
so sad because in other countries, my best friend from college, she lives in Australia, you
Mhm.
get, I want to say, $5,000 every time you have a baby, right?
Oh yeah.
We get nothing in America.
No. Get a
And
bill.
then the possibility of WIC also being affected by this. I
Okay.
remember when I had Yanni at 7 months, that's when my milk started drying up.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go get
What?
WIC, some formula for him. At that time,
Right,
I
right.
wasn't making as much as I'm making now.
Mhm.
And, although the older folks like my mom would be like, "Oh, you're gonna give him formula?" Well, listen, a nurse once told me, It's better than no food.
Right.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
better than no food.
It's
You
better
So
than
I was
understand?
nothing.
in a
At least he
That's
meeting.
got
it.
7 good months of colostrum and breast milk, right?
That's right.
But
That's
when that
right.
milk dried up,
Yeah. Right.
I was very
What are you gonna
happy
do?
to
Right.
go get formula. And so I'm worried about
Yeah.
women who are expecting, who have a due date, maybe February,
Mhm.
because WIC is a federal program and they're
Yeah.
going to reduce the pool of eligible participants. What is that going to look like? Even when
What
I
is it
had got
going
WIC
to?
for the couple of months, I just made it by a 50 cent.
Yeah.
If I
Well, I
had
just
made
spoke
50
to
cent more, they would have told me,
They'd have said no.
I was part today. I had a meeting with some people from the different community, the New York State Department of Health and things like that. And it was
hmm,
one young lady that's in charge of the WIC program with the CAO and other organizations. And she said for the most part, that's what their concern was about the WIC, because that's what
Hmm.
they deal with. But she said for the most part in New York State, it looks as though WIC may be okay as far as the November 1st deadline. There may be
Hmm.
still funds
Hmm.
available for the WIC part of the programs, right? Part
okay.
of that program, which sounds good. It looks
Mhm.
good right now. But
Hmm.
say in the next couple weeks, when they start saying we need to pull from this to fund this,
To pay that. That's it.
pay that, then
No.
that's going to be the where it's going to be in jeopardy. But for right now, she's saying is that the WIC, and when I was speaking to somebody from Catholic Charities, it doesn't look as though WIC is going to be affected like as the effective November 1st.
November
What's going to
1st.
happen in the weeks to come, maybe. But one thing I will say, when it comes to New York State and pediatrics, New York State is probably one of the states that is very for pediatric care.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Understand?
Hmm.
They're very strict on a lot of things, immunizations and things like that. So
Hmm.
they try to have as many programs through New York State for. So even though the government as a whole is shut down and they're cutting these programs for the most part, New York may be one of the states that'll be okay for a moment, because let's be clear, even though with the shutdown, there's other states that snap before November 1st, they're not even receiving. They've been cut
Right.
off
Right.
already,
Those states.
and their
Yeah.
Medicaid has been cut off already in certain states. So, you know,
Right.
there's pros and cons here in New York State, but for the
Right.
most part, I do believe that we do have a governor that tries to not conform to what's
Right.
happening in things.
Oh, yeah. What I'll say
Much,
is, I mean,
but
to
other
close
things.
up this part of our conversation, because
Mhm.
listen, there's some other stuff going on we got to talk about, and we won't have time for that. But I
Right.
will let you know that probably over two right now where we are, I believe there's like 25 states, including District of Columbia, that have filed a lawsuit, of course, to try to against the Trump administration to see if if this is even what they can do. Can they even have SNAP hold the money? So we'll see. Like this is ever evolving.
Oh yeah.
We'll see what's gonna come and what's gonna happen. But in the
But let
meantime,
me say this real quick, Tasha, before we close out.
yes,
I want to charge everyone listening to this, right? Because this is not a game anymore.
no,
Nobody's playing until the game is over and the board has been flipped.
exactly,
The
Right.
exactly,
solution is not just charity alone. It's going to take community power. It's going to take policy change, and it's going to take the refusal to accept the narrative that hunger is inevitable.
Right.
right. That part.
And
The
when you're
basic thing we need, the basic Maslow. I always refer to Maslow hierarchy of needs. He said if a person's physiological needs aren't met,
not met,
they're
every
not going to be able to operate at their
No,
highest self. So you can't talk to somebody about getting a master's degree or even a bachelor's degree. You can't talk to them about investing in stocks, Roth
or
IRA,
even showing up at
403b.
work,
Right.
in the right mindset.
And they have a
exactly.
food
They
insecurity, a
ain't
food
that.
insecurity.
Right,
Mhm.
absolutely,
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's
Yeah,
definitely
a trickle
preventable.
down. It's
And
yeah.
I know we don't have time to talk about Jamaica, and a lot of, some
Yes,
things
we
that
do.
have been
Listen, we
said
gonna get that
about
right.
Jamaica and why the island is experiencing Melissa and witchcraft.
We
But I
about to
tell
talk
you
about
right
that
now,
right now. We got
this
listen.
is
We got
witchcraft and
12 minutes.
diabolical to be cutting these SNAP benefits and to put the nation, people in danger of hunger. We are not a
Yes,
third world country. And so
Exactly.
That's right.
this is diabolical if you ask me.
And
So
It is.
we're the laughing stock of the world.
so everybody who's saying Jamaica deserve Hurricane Melissa, we deserve
I
her
don't
and
even,
Melissa and her sister
they
Wow.
should
lucky
be
I ain't
coming to
heard none of that.
America.
They lucky I ain't heard none
So
of
let's
that.
talk
I
a
ain't
little
never
bit.
heard.
We
So
got about 12 minutes. We're gonna use that time.
Okay,
yeah.
let's go. Let's get
So
into it.
we've
So
talked about,
y'all,
like, for
y'all
me,
tell me what y'all know, because I don't even know what I heard in
for
the news,
me,
and I don't trust half of it.
for me
So y'all tell me what
personally,
y'all know. All I know is a hurricane has come.
so for
Mhm.
me
That's what
personally,
I know.
because mom and dad is from there, my aunts
Okay.
are still there. I have uncles that's still there, and a friend of mine that was there for a wedding that's still trapped there. Um,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So, for me, being that I know the country is a third world country that they can't be without. Okay. And like I was listening to Steve Harvey, and just to say, my aunt marked herself safe today,
Oh, good. Praise God.
because
Good.
I know she's in part of the area where it's going to be flooded. Some of my family that's in Mandeville was hit hard. It washed
Mm.
out some of the communities there.
Wow.
So I'm
Wow.
still waiting.
My family's from Kingston. They've bunkered down. They're
Yeah,
good so
I'm
far.
still here.
That's
I got
good.
family
That's
in both,
good.
all over,
Mhm.
but I'm still trying to get in
Mm.
contact with that side of the family there. But, Steve Harvey said today on the radio, of
Mm-hmm.
course, we got to do better, because so many people go there for resort,
Come
weddings,
on.
this, that, and the third, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we're going to see what the response is. Now, mind you, we weren't very responsible. We had in our own state here of Louisiana.
With Hurricane
When
Katrina.
it came to Puerto Rico, he talked about the garbage pile out there in the middle of the ocean, which he is the
Yep.
president of over. So I'm not expecting a big response as much as it can, but celebrities, people who have thing. I'm a part of the Jamaica, the crisis, the Red Cross thing for Jamaica. However, there are other countries like China, I do believe, will step up, because they've
They
spent
have
millions.
investments over there. They're one
They
of the
they've
bridges.
Yeah, they've had millions of dollars in the infrastructure. A lot of people don't know that also Dubai
Right, right.
has signed an agreement with
With
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
So
Mhm.
I'm expecting that it's going to be a response, not so much putting my faith in the US being responsive to it, because I've seen how they've done to their own
I
country.
do have faith in PM Andrew Holness, and he was
Yeah.
educated here in America, and he's of
Yeah.
the younger generation. So he has a plan. He's very organized and he's very pragmatic.
Yeah. So hopefully, all
Mm.
we could do is pray for, because like I said,
Yes.
there's no importing and exporting. The only where their money comes from for that country is from other countries that are have some type of financial investment interest in the
Mm-hmm.
country.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes from all of the world that people go there for vacation resorts or whatever, events or
And
stuff
and I just want to clarify something because y'all know I'm a
Mm-hmm.
history buff, right?
like
So what makes a country a third world country, it stems all the way back during the Cold War era. So if
Right.
you were aligned with NATO and Western capitalism and the United States, you were considered first world.
Right.
Second world,
Mm.
I think it was if you were aligned with the Soviet Union, communist, socialist, things like that. And third world were countries that remained non-aligned either with NATO or the Warsaw Pact during the Cold War. So I'm not trying to give everybody a history lesson, but that's what third world mean. Third world don't mean,
Always
you
You
poverty.
are
walking around with no
inferior,
shoe.
you're
No, it's not
inferior
always
eating out
poverty.
the
Yeah, yeah,
no.
No.
It means
yeah.
But
basically you ain't choose a side. And so you ain't
Right,
first
right.
world
yeah.
It's
or
like,
second world.
But
So now you're
also,
third world.
part of the third world is that you're third on the list. Let's say in layman's
let's
terms,
just say that, because basically,
you're not going to get the resources that the other countries that's in the 1 and 2 category, right?
Mhm.
And the thing is, for a lot of these countries, for these islands that got independency from Great Britain and other Dutch and things like that, it
mm-hmm.
came with some cons with that. So, like I said, with things that were robust in the era of import and export, and no longer took was taking place over
And Jamaica was a refuge for a lot of people,
there. It
okay,
was. It
including
is.
the Asian
Yes.
Chinese. That's why we have
Asian.
a Chinese influence
I
there.
do.
Also, there's Jamaican Jews there.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
Jamaica was a place of refuge for
yeah.
people. So I want to remind people to
Mhm.
not give your mouth too much liberty when
Yes.
speaking about a country or particular situation, especially if you do not speak from a place of facts. And
Facts.
for those charismatic Christians, right, who
Mm.
have the gift of prophecy, right, and you are going on these rants, be
Mhm.
very careful, because even with Sodom and
That's right.
Gomorrah in Genesis chapter 18, Abraham pleaded with God and said, you know, if I can find 50 good men, right?
50
And then he went down all the way to 10.
to
So I'm
10.
gonna tell
That's
you right
right.
now, Obia is not the national or cultural religion of Jamaica. It is
It's,
no different than people here in America who practice reading tarot cards,
That's
psychics, your
right.
crystals, washing your crystals in moon water.
all
And I
right.
might offend some people with this, but it's just straight up what it is. Your chakras, all of that. You
Yeah,
All
understand?
of that.
That's
yeah.
Crystal
all.
water.
But
Tsunami
for
should be hitting us as well. So I just
Very
but
want
good
to, for
sense.
yeah,
those that are going to be
but
listening and
yeah.
on the bandwagons of those who have been talking about this is happening to Jamaica because of witchcraft, we should not be judging any
At all.
country on that particular level to give our mouth that freedom. And I'm not endorsing witchcraft. I am not saying that it is okay, but we have to speak from a place of knowledge and historical facts.
Exactly.
Even the national anthem of Jamaica glorifies God. Our American national anthem talks about our military
Man,
power and bombs bursting in the
man.
air.
Right.
You know, it's the judge not. You
And
understand?
I,
Judge.
I love
And,
being born in America. And I'm glad my parents came here. I'm first
right.
generation American. My mom is Trinidadian. My dad is Jamaican. Um, and so I'm proud to have that heritage, and I'm also proud of the opportunities that my parents were able to come here and take advantage of and create a better life for me and my siblings. And now I'm able to create an even better life for my son. But it would be remiss of me if I sat there and
Hmm.
see and hear some of the xenophobic comments
Yeah.
when the first place some people ever been with a passport was Jamaica.
Yes.
What? That's the first place.
Yeah, and you know, it's just I try to stay away from looking at those things because at the end of the day, it's the safety and what's
Mhm.
there is it's happening, whether they think it's coming from witchcraft or whatever the case may be. It's something that's happening.
It's happening.
We need to come together for people that's going to be without, just like we are coming together to be without here. Just like we come together to for people that's in Kosovo, you understand, and all those countries at one time that did not like America, but yet and still we are bailing them out. We need to be very,
Showing up.
yes. And then for the Christian population that we're always preaching to not judge, but the first thing they are judging, you understand, and to bring in all these outliers about everything else that you assume is the case of why they're being hit
And I
is
love the point that you
ridiculous.
made that is happening. You focused on
Yeah,
something that is so to me unimportant.
yeah, it's
Right.
it's yeah, all that other
The,
stuff is so
the
important that these
cause of it
people
is
are,
one thing, but it's the impact.
it's
What about
Yeah, some people are
what
bringing
about the
up
children?
it's
What are you talking about?
yeah, like
people
what,
talking about Jamaica wanted to legalize Obia. Well, let
yeah,
me give you a history fact. The Obia law 1898 in Jamaica criminalized Obia.
yeah,
So people listening, what is Obia? Obia is no different from going to the hoodoo woman or the
Right.
voodoo
Going
woman.
to
You trying to get a potion mix to keep your man. Yeah, y'all
yeah,
right,
listening.
yeah.
Going to
right.
get
And it's just
the
it's
potion fix for that.
unfortunate. It's
Right.
unfortunate that we allow those distractions of what is here.
It's
You know what
just
I
a
mean?
distraction.
Landfall, you know, I'm texting my aunt at 2 o'clock, you know, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock
Right,
to make sure
right.
that she's good because I already know they're already without in certain areas of Jamaica, of the island that people don't see. There's places
Hmm.
that people don't see that people are struggling. You understand? So
Yeah,
for me personally,
yeah.
I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking that my family is safe because it's coming through. You understand?
It's
Right.
coming
That's,
through.
you know what I mean? And that's the only family I got. So,
Hmm.
Right,
you know,
right.
in there, you know, I have some family in London or whatever, but our core of our family, our beginning outside of Africa It's Jamaica. That's a primary where my mom and my dad's family is. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
have to, for me.
And I think for our listeners, for us,
Mhm.
I know in the next few hours, I'm certain that we're going to get information on how we can be a
Yeah,
help, whether it be financial, if people can
yeah.
volunteer to go, whatever it is that you can do,
Mhm.
whether it's going on the Red
Clothing.
Cross website, but make sure it's a legit website. A lot of times scammers try to use these as opportunities to take your money and and things like that, but just be careful. But we should give. We should
Yeah.
give to Jamaica like we give to
And
any other country, like to any other cause. These are our people.
and then the
These
thing
are
is
our people.
about West Indian, let me stop using that term West Indians. About
Mhm.
Jamaican people, because I know, because I was born and raised with two of them. They are very resilient. My aunt,
We
like,
are.
she's telling
We
me,
are
like,
a resilient
she's
people.
like, no worries. She's telling me, no worry. She coming by my nickname. No worries, I'm good. Because I know at the end of the day, they're gonna make sure they're gonna pull together as a people in that country, on that island. They pull together, unlike what we do here.
That's
Mhm.
right.
So even if we are not, they're not getting a pouring of monies coming in, they are going to find a way to rebuild
That's right.
by themselves. But
That's right.
it would be helpful that there's outside help and resources that come in. But we as blacks, we are resilient anyway.
Yes, we
We
are.
always find a way to make something out of nothing. You understand?
Mhm.
And for people that's on a island that's 29 miles wide, they're definitely going to make do that they we come back, you know what I'm saying,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
stuff. But just continue to pray that that
Yes, pray.
there's the mortality rate is not high
Yeah.
when it comes to this storm. I'm just concerned because even like not even my family, just people that I've come to know when I've gone there and traveled there, you know what I mean, people who their jobs, who works for the resorts, who not going to make any money because some of the places are going to be destroyed. So you know what I mean, it's going to be a lasting effect. But
It is. Absolutely.
we
Absolutely.
are
Oh,
godly people, and
yes.
when the people that they were interviewing on TV there, they all of them was mentioning God will take care of us. You
He
understand?
And
will.
he
Hold that,
will.
and when you hold that, you're
Will.
not worried about anything else. So people can say whatever they want to
Mhm.
say.
And I want to
But
leave the listeners, especially our religious people,
yeah,
with a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And he says, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?
others.
So even for our pious and charismatic, Holy Ghost full blood washed people,
That's it.
intercede,
Hallelujah.
because intercession
Intercede.
causes redirection. So
Mhm.
even if you feel that witchcraft is the cause of this, pray,
Pray.
Pray.
pray,
Pray
intercede.
that the people's mind be
Right.
hard. That's
Pray that
it.
their hearts will be changed, right?
Yes.
That
That's right.
Yes.
government will be able to stand against, you
Mhm.
understand, the
Yeah.
things that are not of God, right?
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
at the end of the day, I just really want to leave with people. Let us be careful what we say in times of tragedy and calamity.
Yes.
My mom has a saying, today for Peter, tomorrow for Paul, which
Yeah.
means today might be my day for trouble, but tomorrow will be yours.
Be yours.
And
Woo!
it always
And
come home to roost.
Okay?
on that note,
So
I
let's
want to
be very careful.
That
very
part.
careful. I want to let
That
our
part.
listeners know that we are right now planning a major relaunch of the Stir
Mhm.
716, and big things are coming, and I mean soon and very soon. So I want you
I'm
all to
going to
Very
see the
soon,
king.
we are going to see the
No, no, not
king.
yet. Not yet.
not
Oh,
that one, not that one, not what we just said. But
oh
anyway,
Lord. I mean,
listen,
we all got a number, but
we do get happy, and we're excited. We're excited about every listener,
No,
about
we got a
everyone who
number, but real
watches and
quick, I
listens.
hope
And
my number move like at the DMV. You know,
at
it
the
takes forever. Don't call
day.
my number yet.
So by the end of November, you will see us again, and we will have something funky,
Yes.
renewed, refreshed, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. We have amazing things to talk about, lots to come, and I'm excited.
yeah.
So
Stay
there it
tuned.
is.
As always, thank you for tuning into the Stir,
Thank
okay?
you.
Which is the only podcast where conversation meets education.
Education.
And leave
All
your
right.
comments. Leave your
Yes,
comments.
leave a comment. Peace out.